You want to go? You want to try 3 for 3?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. Minh in California. It's been a long time since we've talked to Minh. You're live with Eric and V. How are you doing today?
Hello, Eric. Hello, V. I'm good. How about you guys?
Doing good.
It has been so long since we've talked. I've got to ask, I know that you had some interesting views that you called in about last time. Have you changed your views on any of those, or are you still holding strong with what you were going on before?
Can you remind me a bit like what I talked about before?
Sure. You brought up an example with an egg, and I'm not fully remembering what it was, but I'm hoping that if by saying egg, you'll remember. If not, then we can...
Yeah, I think like last time I talked to you, it was about magical thinking, I believe.
Okay. Well, but what do you want to talk about today? I don't mean to kind of shoehorn you into the last call. What do you want to talk about?
That's okay. Yeah, so I would love to ask you, are you okay with religion, exist as it does now if, people approach it in a holistic way and not just like, a be-all and end-all means for their lives?
What do you mean by holistic?
Well, holistic as in, and I'm biased because I am religious myself. But I'm saying, based on a model I learned in science class about health, and there is, multiple dimension in a person's well-being, and religion is the part that play into, what people call, what they call spiritual wellness. So it's the idea that, if you believe in a higher cause for your existence and that you believe that, your existence has a meaning and it's beyond yourself, beyond the material, then it's have a, benefit to your total well-being besides in your physical, mental, emotional, social well-being, etc.
So you're asking, are there pragmatic reasons to be religious, just in terms of health and wellness and mental health and everything?
Yes, So if religion is like a piece in that puzzle to complete a person's, total well-being, are you okay with that? With the existence of religion, or do you think it's still problematic because of, the magical thinking?
Well, I think that's a really good question. And I may have a different response than a lot of atheists do. And I think that religion is one way to get those things, one way to get community and purpose and ritual. But I think that inherently, at least organized religion, hierarchical religion, like the Abrahamic faiths, tend to have a lot of extra baggage that can hurt you in the long run. And so the negatives may outweigh the positives in that instance. That said, I do think that ritual is important. I do think community is important. I do think that having purpose outside of yourself is important. But none of those things are inherently religious. And you can get all of them either together all at once or from different areas if you're intentional about seeking them out. So religion is one way to get all of that kind of prepackaged and handed to you, but there are some issues with that as well, because it's not personalized to you. You might feel pressured into finding a purpose in a way that doesn't fulfill you, or behaving in a way in order to appease a community that you want to keep, or participating in ritual that you don't understand or appreciate or doesn't speak to you. In addition to the fact that a lot of religion does have inherent harm within it. So my most basic answer would be, I don't think religion is the best way to get those benefits. I do agree that the benefits are important. And I think that as a community, especially within the skeptical community, we need to have that discussion more frequently.
Yeah, and I've got a kind of a different approach here. Minh, have you heard of the noble lie?
No, I have not.
Sure. So it's this idea, and it's really, really old, but it's this idea that we should tell people, it was used in a caste system, right, where your social status doesn't change. If you're a craftsman or you were born to a craftsman, that is all you can achieve. You can't. There's no vertical growth in that society, right? And the way it was proposed is, well, but if we tell people that among the leadership mixed in when God made them, that in their souls there's gold, this precious metal. These people with these golden souls, they're supposed to be in leadership, and it justifies their leadership. And then further down along, you have silver and I think iron and brass, and whatever they've been created with, it would help them to accept their lot in life. That if you're just lower class, if you're among the poor, you shouldn't strive toward being anything better. You shouldn't strive toward doing anything better in your life, because that's just who you are. That is baked into your essence. And the reason why this kind of noble lie was proposed is because people would accept it better. What do you think of the idea of the noble lie? Do you think that's something that was a good idea at the time? I mean, pragmatically, it would prevent revolution. It would prevent revolt. It would make sure that the ruling class stayed, where they're at, and it would prevent a lot of strife. Maybe there would be a whole lot of people who would maybe be happier with their lot in life, knowing that it just couldn't get better because it was baked into them. Would you promote the idea of the noble lie?
I'm sorry, Eric. So I had to listen to what you said again. So to answer you, probably my response, like in the case, probably like the analogy of lying to the Nazi, I guess. Like sometimes you have to use a lie to say, to do the good, to do the right thing, to benefit some people. And I mean, like, if that is the case, then I guess I have no problem with that. But
see, and I do. I think therein is where we have our biggest issue. Is the pragmatic approach of telling people a lie because it makes things work better takes away their autonomy. It takes away their ability to make a choice, and it assumes that they're stupid enough or just accepting enough that you're going to make the decision for them. And I don't accept that. I think that people should make decisions with the most evidence available. That they should have as much information as possible so that they can make informed decisions. And if you decide to take that away from them, I think that's cruel. I think whether or not it's pragmatic doesn't come into play, because we should be honest, and we should have the most evidence available. If you think somebody's not going to get it, give them the opportunity to not get it at least, but don't lie to them. And so the holistic approach, I can't get behind it. And the reason I can't get behind it is because I don't believe it's true. Whether or not it's helpful, it doesn't matter. I think that I have a responsibility to communicate that so that people can make the most informed decisions possible. I mean, there are a lot of people who feel a lot of angst and frustration and sadness when they think that there's not a moral underpinning to things, right? This aporia. Or no, not aporia, anomie. But whether or not they have an existential crisis, at least they're getting the truth, and at least they're able then to make rational decisions for good reasons,
So Eric, I want to ask you, like, maybe in your area it's different from where I'm living, because when I hear people mention religion, at least in the Bay Area, what they talk about, is like you said, the existential crisis. What is the reason they are here? Like, what should I do to better my life, or what virtue should I pursue to be a better person? They never talk about. It's really rare I hear them talk about cosmology or creationism or something like that when it comes to religion. And in fact, I noticed that in a place where I used to work at, the area surrounding me was highly it's secular. Like, they don't talk about religion as in like fundamentalist, but there are a lot of things like Reiki or like meditation or like some sort of Zen retreat center. There are numerous of them around. So that's why I think, religion, they play a part in that approach to deal with the question that I feel like, studying biology or chemistry doesn't help.
Tell that to somebody who is enthused
Right.
to get up in the morning to learn about biology. It just depends. I think that entirely depends on who you're talking to. We can find our own reasons to find meaning in the world around us, in this universe and in our existence. We can find those things that excite us, but we don't need to lie to ourselves or to each other to get there. I mean, Minh, I'm excited to be here to talk to you. That's enough for me to wake up this morning. Isn't that enough? I should be able to make that choice.
Yes, Eric, and I like to talk to you too, and I do it because it's my instinct to tell you to talk to you today. So it's not rational. It's just because I like it. So
Well, I think that's why we're here with about 2,000 other people, because this is our jams, man. This is what we do. This is what we like. It's what we get excited about. But I think if you're going to take a pragmatic approach, I think that I don't think that's a moral thing to do. I think that give people the opportunity, even if you're going to let them down. I mean, it'll make everybody excited if I told them they were going to get $1 million tomorrow. That doesn't mean I should, because it makes them excited or happy. Right? So
all right. Yeah. Okay.
we stick to that intellectual honesty. And then from there, maybe we've got a better question. Like you said, okay, how do we find purpose in our lives? Wow, that's a good question. That's better, but that's a step after setting down that pragmatic approach.
All righty.
Cheers,
okay, Eric and Ree, thank you so much for taking my call. It's very interesting talking to you guys.
Wonderful
Definitely.
talking to you. Take care, man.
All right, take care. Thank you.
I think we granted something that we shouldn't have even granted in that conversation as well. I think we granted that religion is pragmatically a good thing for people. Because we were arguing, well, sure, but we shouldn't perpetuate the noble lie. But I think that suggests two things. One, that there are no people who really suffer and really struggle in religion. And that there are people like us who found our mental health 10 times better after leaving and found a purpose that motivated us even more to be even better people. So in addition to everything we just said to Minh, I also want to press that religion is not always a good source of community or holistic well-being. It can very often be a source of pain to the point of depression and anxiety and PTSD and suicidal thoughts. I have many, many friends, especially in the LGBTQ community, for whom religion is the biggest hurdle in their life right now. So it's not all black and white in that way either.
Totally agreed. And that's a really good distinction to make. I granted it because I thought that even if we granted it, it would still be a bad approach. But gosh, if we would have just skimmed over that idea and not validated the experiences of those people, you're absolutely right. It's a good call.